The IDF confirms that Israeli tanks have begun a renewed, quote, pinpoint ground operation against Hamas inside Gaza. We're now joined by IDF Sergeant Major Chaim Malespin from the ground. Chaim, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so this is my 530th day being deployed. That's 530 days, and I've been deployed in Lebanon and in Gaza. Our guys are right now, I'm just using a flashlight here. We've been all week in this prep stage for what's happening right now. And this is the beginning. We believe you can hear a lot of noise. That's all part of it. Black Hawk training for being able to help them to land better when they remove. I hope this doesn't happen, but any soldiers that could be injured in what is scheduled to be the largest campaign in Israel's modern history. The modern history of Israel, we've never had 400,000 troops called up to defeat an enemy. That is, I believe it's seven ugdot. Sorry about that. 7 ugdot. Now you have about 1,000. Oh, I don't want to go into the exact numbers, but you have about 1,000 soldiers in a battalion. So there's a lot of tanks also setting up positions, and 400,000 troops, the largest military campaign to ever take place in the history of Israel. So I'm with the Yahalom unit. Now Yahalom, Combat Engineer Corps, you can sort of see on my right here, that is like EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal, but also tunnel mapping, locating, and dismantling. That's my job. It's called Samur, part of the Yahalom family. And so we have a lot of tunnels yet to deal with, a lot of areas that we maybe, you might call it, just quickly pass through, but never did deal with the threat that could easily, very easily beset us yet again, another October 7th. And I don't know if you know, but our intelligence gave a very strong indication that during this regrouping time, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Jabhat al-Nusra, etc., wanted to actually do another invasion right now during the ceasefire. This is what our intelligence sources said, that they planned to right away use the little time they had during the ceasefire to do another invasion. So if anyone thinks or is falsely believes that we somehow reached the end of the war, that ceasefire without the hostages being released was somehow, a ceasefire means the end of the war. That's incorrect. A ceasefire means we want the rest of our hostages. We're giving you time to make a wise decision, not a apocalyptic jihadist decision, but a decision that would produce some sort of future that Gaza could be rebuilt in, like Trump was saying, shift some cards here and there to Somaliland, Somalia, Sudan, Syria. These are the places that we're looking at. But no, the decision was very, very clear. With the bombing that the Hamas, Islamic Jihad, is doing, they made their decision. They want jihad all the way.
This is absolutely fascinating. You're on the ground. I don't want to, obviously say exactly where you are, but it appears as though not only is the ceasefire over, not only has Israel, started carrying out these rocket attacks, these bombing attacks against Hamas targets. Now the IDF tanks are going back into Gaza. I don't want to, obviously you don't have a crystal ball, but where do you see this going in the days and weeks ahead?
Yeah, another thing that's really important to note is things don't happen immediately. It takes time. So it takes time to bring all these, that some have been released, some soldiers have been released. I haven't, as I said, 530 days in, but others have been released, and now they have to all be brought back, and more ones. And not all the religious are serving. It all takes some time in setting up positions, retaking areas, and I mean retaking. Retaking means it's no longer in our hands. If you make the mistake of go like Netzarim corridor where the tanks are going in right now, if you go back there and think it's, we already took this back in the day, a month ago we were there, so it's fine. No, this is the time where under the road all kinds of bombs, Nun Aleph, anti-personnel, Nun Tet, anti-tank mines are placed, and all kinds of booby traps. If you try to go into, say, a building that you had been using, then you could very easily blow up with all kinds of tripwires, all kinds of booby traps of every single kind, TATP, TNT, homemade, in there, multiple laboratories, which still exist underground. Those are the ones I have to find and destroy.
Chaim, this is just absolutely fascinating content. One last question for you. You have a large global audience watching you right now. And obviously, you don't always get to have your side of the story shared. So, if there's something that you want people to know about what's happening, what would you want them to know?
I wish that people would stop thinking in a Western mindset. I know this is very hard to do because people are living in Western countries, but they just haven't had war on their soil. Maybe in Korean Peninsula, maybe in Vietnam, maybe in Iraq, maybe in Afghanistan. But they haven't had war in their house with blood splattered on the walls of their own homes. When that happens, it's very hard. It's easy for them to judge from far away and say, well, hey, just leave it at the ceasefire. Let's call it a day. Well, I don't want my kid to have to go through what I've had to go through in the last 530 days. No father does. We're not warmongers. I want them to know that we say shalom when we say hello. That's shalom. When we say goodbye, it's shalom. Trump said that recently. It's because that's all we want is to dwell in peace. They had a beautiful place there. If anyone could have been the houses that I've been in, rotating televisions in the living room between this side of the place and that side of the place, fancy cars, the gold market, beautiful, pristine beaches. The jihadism, the hate, the indoctrination destroyed it all for themselves, launching a war on Israel. And you know what? The same thing I'll say is the fact that according to international law, if they were under a genocide, which they're not, they are not. Their population has increased from 500,000 or so to 2.2 million, right, in the past 77 years or so. So my point is, if they were under a genocide, if that was the case, well then all of the neighboring countries are commanded, according to international law, to rescue them, to take them in. So you can't force them to stay there like Egypt did, like Jordan did, like all the countries say, no, we don't want even a single one or we'll kill them. You can't force them there and then say, oh, we don't want to receive them, but we also believe they're undergoing a genocide. According to the law, according to the Geneva Convention, according to the international law, they must be received. And so they just can't have the cake and eat it too. And I think the time has come. This is what I want people to know. The time has come for us to step up and be the good shepherds. I said this on Fox News. I've said this on all kinds of news stations around the world. Shepherds don't just feed the sheep. Shepherds defend the flock from the mouth of the wolves and the bears. You get those lambs back. You go in and you show strength. A strong Israel is a safe Israel. A strong Israel is a strong West. It's strength for the West. Trump sees that. We see that. Do we want anyone to die? No. No. We want the Hamas to either leave, disarm, or else. Right now, it looks like or else is what they want, what they've chosen. And so that is what we'll have to do.
Chaim, this has been absolutely fascinating. We are going to be praying for you. Stay safe, my brother. Toda rabba, achi.
Check out AliyahReturnCenter.com to help the Emergency Aid Initiative supply yet more necessary equipment so that's Aliyah, like the return of the Jewish people to the Promised Land, ReturnCenter.com. We have an emergency aid campaign. Thank you for your time.
Chaim Malespin, God bless, my friend.